Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel, and today we will discuss the situation in the world on the 7th of April of 2026. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first we're going to talk about the conflict on the territory of the Middle East, and first we will discuss a statement that was made by the President of the United States of America. He said that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary would wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption and death will finally end. And as you understand, the President of the United States of America was talking about Iran. So according to him, this night, if the Iranians don't open the Strait of Hormuz, if the Iranians don't accept the capitulation, then according to the President of the United States of America, this civilization will die tonight. And according to information we have, the Iranians closed the negotiation process with them. Today, Iran has shut down all direct and indirect lines of communication with the United States of America, halting all messages exchanged according to Iranian media. So this happened right after the President of the United States of America published his statement about the civilization of Iran. But it seems that the United States of America and the President Trump decided not to wait when the ultimatum expires. I would like to remind you that several days ago, the President of the United States of America issued an ultimatum to Iranians saying that if the Iranians don't accept everything, the demands of the United States of America, then the United States of America would attack the Iranians. And this ultimatum expires at 8 p.m. and which means that in coming several hours. But according to information we are receiving from the territory of Iran, it seems that the United States of America and the coalition itself decided to begin bombing and attacking the Iranians before the ultimatum expires. And during the previous 24 hours we received lots of updates on this matter. According to information we have, Israel and the coalition attacked, struck, hit, destroyed lots of bridges, lots of railway lines in the northwestern parts of Iran, from the northwestern part of Iran towards the city of Tehran itself. So let's discuss everything in details. So this is the first bridge in the area of the settlement by the name of Hashtrud, and according to information we have, the Hashtrud Tabriz bridge was hit by an Israeli airstrike, and as you can see, as a result of this attack, the bridge was destroyed. Now let's move further in the northeastern direction, and now we are coming to the city of Maneh. And according to information we have, the Israeli Air Force carried out a major aerial campaign targeting Iran's railway infrastructure on Tabriz, Maneh, Zanjan and Kashan railway lines. So here we can see railway lines around the settlement of Maneh that were attacked by the coalition, and as you can see, the coalition dealt significant damage, and most likely the lines were completely destroyed. Now let's move further in the southeastern direction, and we are coming to the city of Zanjan. Here we have the same story. In this video we can see probably first hours after this area was attacked, and the bridge was also completely destroyed. Here we can see the moments when the coalition was attacking railway lines in this area, and probably railway lines in this area were also destroyed. Now we're moving further in the southeastern direction, and we are coming to the city of Karach, and here we can see the same story. The bridge and the lines were damaged and destroyed significantly. Furthermore, here we have a video that was published several days ago, and here we can see how several days ago the coalition destroyed the bridge in the area of the city of Karach in the northeastern part. Here we see the moments when bombs hit the bridge itself. And when summarizing everything that we have just discussed, we see that the most northwestern parts of Iran was completely cut from the mainland. So we are talking about this territory. According to all these videos, according to all these statements made by Israeli authorities, made by the United States of America, made by the Iranians, according to all these videos that we have just discussed, this territory of Iran, the most northwestern part of Iran, was cut today from the mainland. So now it's very difficult to answer this territory. Of course, you are not able to do this. You will not be able to do this using railway service. Maybe you will be able to do this using just regular roads, but as we discussed, according to all these videos, several bridges were destroyed. So what does it mean? I would like to remind you that at the beginning of this conflict, somewhere at the beginning of March, we were talking about the population of Iran. And if you remember, at the beginning of the conflict, we discussed a very interesting map about different groups of people who are living in this area. If we will be able to find this video, that would be great. Let's try to find this. Maybe this is the map. So this is the map of Iranian ethnic groups. So, and according to information we have, the northwestern parts of Iran is populated with Kurds and Azeri. So this territory is populated not by Persians but by Kurds and Azeri. And this is a very important situation because as you can see, the territory which is populated with Kurds and Azeri was completely cut from the mainland. And I'm trying to tell you this because during the previous 24 hours, the President of the United States of America made a very important statement. So this is the statement. Let's discuss this in details. He said that the Iranian people will fight back as soon as they get weapons. If they had weapons, Iran would give up in 2 seconds. We sent some guns. They were supposed to go to the people of Iran. You know what happened? The people we sent them through kept them. I'm very upset with a certain group of people, and they will pay a big price for this. So what the President of the United States of America was talking about? He tried to tell us that at the beginning of the conflict, at the beginning of the Epic Fury operation, the United States of America, it seems that the United States of America and the coalition sent a lot of forces to the ethnic groups that populate the most northern parts of Iraq, and we're talking about Iraqi Kurds. So lots of weapons were sent in the direction of the city of Erbil, and if you remember at the beginning of this conflict, we were talking a lot about these things, that it seems that the United States of America supposed that Kurds will cross the northwestern part, the border between Iran and Iraq, and will enter the territory of the northwestern part of Iran with the purpose to give weapons to the Iranian Kurds and together to fight with the forces and the military forces of Iran itself. Of course, we were talking also that Azerbaijan could do the same, and there were certain redeployments in this region, but now it seems that this is not going to happen. This is not the case. But the most important thing that according to Trump, the Iranian Kurds haven't received weapons that were sent to them through the Iraqi Kurds through the city of Erbil. But at the same time, according to information we have, the Israelis began bombing and attacking the most northwestern parts of Iran, and the Israelis have already cut the city of Tabriz from the mainland of Iran, which means that maybe certain groups of Kurds or maybe some other forces have received weapons for military purposes. So one thing is clear, that all these bombardments made the logistic for the Iranian forces completely or almost impossible. And if something happens in the most northwestern part of Iran, if, let's say, some riot happens on the territory of Tabriz or something like this, we understand that it will be a very difficult situation for the Iranians to bring reinforcements in this direction with the purpose to stabilize the situation. And even if the Iranians will be able and will start sending troops in this direction, we need to understand that convoys, vehicles, trucks would be attacked by the coalition significantly. So basically, the reinforcement most likely won't be able even to get the most northwestern part of Iran. So this is the situation, which means that maybe in several hours, when the ultimatum expires, a ground operation or the ground operation in the most northwestern part of Iran will take place. But another important thing that it seems that there would be two ground operations on the territory of Iran. The first one is in the northwestern parts of the state, and the second one, it seems, is going to start in the southeastern part of Iran around the settlement by the name of Chabahar. Today, lots of interesting statements were made by the Pakistani authorities. Today, we received the report that Pakistan will stand with Saudi Arabia under a defense pact if conflict escalates. And it seems that the conflict is escalating because during the previous 24 hours, the Iranians attacked the city of Al-Jabal in the eastern parts of Saudi Arabia. They attacked the biggest oil refinery in this region, in this area. Lots of explosions were recorded, and we have a map with fire anomalies, which means that probably this area was damaged significantly. And if this information is correct, then the Saudi Arabia has the right to call for a help, to call Pakistan to help Saudi Arabia, which means that the Saudi Arabia will ask Pakistan to attack the state of Iran. And the only possible way where the Pakistanis can attack the state of Iran is its southeastern part. But one thing is clear, that most likely if this happens, if it happens, most likely Pakistan won't go deep inside of the state of Iran or to carry out significant offensive landing operation or something like this. Probably the only thing that Pakistan can do in this situation is to support the US forces that will try to land their forces and their soldiers. We are talking about the coalition around the city of Chabahar. So they can secure this area and the Pakistani forces can secure on the ground some territories along the border, and this will be enough for the United States of America to land infantry around the area of Chabahar. And you know that during the previous day we received the report that the Iranian army has announced that it struck the American amphibious assault ship, the helicopter, the US Tripoli. The vessel has been forced to withdraw from this area. So it seems that the United States of America made several attempts to approach the shore and the territories of Iran from the southeast, but those were something like maneuvers with the purpose to understand the combat capability of the Iranians in this side of Iran. But when the Iranians began attacking the amphibious assault ships of the United States of America, of course, they retreat from this area back in the southern direction, and most likely they realized that without ground operation and ground support along the border, it would be a very difficult operation for the coalition side. So, which means that most likely the second ground operation is inevitable, and this ground operation is going to take place somewhere here. The Pakistanis can probably support or to create something that will allow the United States of America and the coalition to land infantry in this area and to block the Strait of Hormuz from this side. This will close the Strait of Hormuz for the Iranian vessels and for the Iranian tankers. And from these positions, the coalition can start developing their offensive operation further in the western direction, in the direction of the city of Bandar Abbas, until complete control over the Strait of Hormuz under the flags of coalition. Furthermore, during the previous 24 hours, we received updates that the coalition attacked and struck the island of Hark. Lots of videos were published from this area, and according to satellite pictures, the southwestern parts of the island was under very heavy fire. So these territories, it seems that, according to information we have, the military bases and objects were attacked. But when talking about island, it seems that the energy infrastructure of the island was attacked, something like a signal to the Iranians. If they don't accept the capitulation, the island would be completely destroyed. Probably this is the signal and this is the message. Furthermore, the coalition attacked the city of Tehran. We have lots of videos, lots of updates, lots of explosions took place in the area of the capital of Iran. But one thing is clear, that despite all these attacks, despite all this damage that the coalition have dealt to the state of Iran, we see that the Iranians are not going to give up. Furthermore, today we start receiving reports that the Iranians began creation of human shields across the state of Iran, covering bridges and so on, which means that the Iranians, it seems, are ready for additional escalation, which is obviously inevitable. We have finished with most of the updates regarding the conflict on the territory of Iran and the Middle East. Now let's discuss the situation in Ukraine. During the previous 24 hours, we received lots of updates, and it seems that something is brewing in the most northern parts of the state of Ukraine, of course. During the previous 24 hours, both the Russians and the Ukrainians attacked each other. The Ukrainians used 190 drones, and they were attacking all over the entire territory of the Russian Federation, but we haven't received anything special on the matter of results of this attack. But from the other side, we received lots of updates about Russian attack, and the Russians, as you can see, according to icons, were completely focused on the most northern parts of the state of Ukraine. Lots of explosions were recorded in the city of Chernigov, in the city of Repki. Lots of explosions were recorded around the settlement of Snovsk, Kurilovka. Furthermore, we have lots of videos from this area. For example, when talking about the city of Novgorod-Seversky, today we received a report that the Russians, as a result of attack, destroyed a city council, this building, the building that Ukrainians use to for different political purposes, the city town hall. Another town hall and city council was destroyed in the area of the settlement of Priluki, which is located also in the Chernigov region. Here we can see the consequences of attack. Furthermore, the Russians attacked the settlement of Shostka. Here we can see how the Russians managed to discover temporary deployment points of the armed force of Ukraine in this area, and then the Russians began bombing and attacking this territory with drones. So once again, it seems that something is brewing, and maybe the Russians are planning to begin something in the most northern parts of Ukraine. And as we discussed in the previous videos, without taking these territories under complete control, the Russians will not be able to stop or to force the Ukrainians to stop attacking deep inside of the territory of Russian Federation with drones and missiles. Furthermore, according to information we have, according to pro-Ukrainian sources, in several months the Ukrainians will be able to get a missile that the Ukrainians will be able to use to attack even the city of Moscow, which is going to be something like a game changer, and obviously this may force the Russians to change their plans regarding any possible further development and any further ground operation and offensive operation as well. Furthermore, we received a report from pro-Ukrainian sources that the Russians are ready or may soon use again the Oreshnik system. The sources are saying that currently 3 missiles were prepared by Russians. 2 of them are of Oreshnik type and 1 of them is of unknown type. So the Ukrainians are saying that most likely the Russians are planning to attack the western parts of Ukraine, the gas storages around the city of Stry or something like this. But if you ask my opinion, I believe that the Russians, since they prepared these missiles just to stay on the safe side, because in coming hours nobody can predict or to say how the conflict on the territory of the Middle East will develop. So that is why the Russians are going to be on the safe side, because if the parties, the coalition and Iran will start bombing and attacking objects of nuclear infrastructure of each other, so from this very moment, everything is possible. If Pakistan, a nuclear state, enters the conflict in the Middle East, everything is possible. So that is why the Russians just want to stay on the safe side, and they want to be ready if everything goes wrong, so they will be able to use their Oreshnik systems or something similar to attack any possible opponent in the world. So it seems that this is the main objective of Russians with this situation. Now let's discuss the situation on the ground. During the previous 24 hours, the biggest number of updates were received from the Zaporozhye direction, where the Russians are keeping advancing further in the western direction towards the city of Orekhov. The Russians are not moving so fast as they used to move in 2025. The Ukrainians during the previous months managed to improve their positions. The Russians still have problems with logistics, but the Russians are restoring their positions, and now time plays in Russian favor, because from every single day to another day the Russians are getting stronger and stronger. They're improving their satellites, they're improving their communication lines and so on, and the Russians are keeping advancing. The Russians are still very far from the settlement of Varekhov, but they're getting closer and closer. So these are the changes between the dates. We see that almost every single day the sabotage and reconnaissance infiltration groups are moving further. At the same time, the Russians are keeping pressure on the settlements like Vozdvizhivka and Verkhnya Tersa. In these videos we can see how Russians were bombing positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in these areas, and it seems that the battle for Vozdvizhivka has already begun. Furthermore, the Russians attacked the settlement of Verkhnya Tersa. In this video we can see how Russians were attacking the settlement, its southeastern part, with multiple launch rocket systems, which also means that the clashes for this area have already begun. Now let's talk about the Dobropolye direction. Here we have the same story. There are very heavy clashes between Russians and the Ukrainians, and it seems that the Russians are trying to break through Ukraine defense, and probably right before the beginning of a major offensive operation, the Ukrainians decided to improve their positions to the north of the settlement of Belitska to improve flank and not allow the Russians to take under complete control the settlement of Belitska. The Ukrainians counterattack in the area of Novodonbass, Novoshakhova, Vilnia, Dorozhne, and during the previous days, according to different sources, the Ukrainians managed to improve their positions. The Ukrainians are trying to do the same as they did in the Zaporozhye direction. They're trying to maintain the line, to shorten the distances, and to improve their defense positions before the beginning of a major battle for the settlement of Dobropolye. As for the Konstantinovka direction, during the previous 24 hours, nothing special was reported. The Russians continue bombing and attacking the city of Konstantinovka, reducing the territory to ruins. The Ukrainians are trying to bring additional reinforcements and reserves in the direction of the city, but the Russians destroy everything that is approaching the southern part of the settlement, but without changes, without changes at all. As for the Slaviansk direction, the number of icons and their positions are saying for itself. Lots of icons, and as you can see, most of them are taking place through the area between the settlements of Dibrovo, Alexandrovka, Nikolaevka, Piskunovka and Starodubovka. And it seems that these icons also show us the current line of combat contact. As you can see, during the previous 24 hours, we haven't received anything from the gray zone or infiltrated area, which means that the Russians are pushing the front line and that the Russians are getting closer and closer to the city of Nikolaevka. In coming days, most likely we'll receive changes on the ground. As for the previous 24 hours, the Russians attacked the settlement of Nikolaevka with FABs, trying to destroy the temporary deployment points of the armed forces of Ukraine. Furthermore, a big activity was recorded in the southeastern part of the city of Liman. A lot of FPV drone attacks. It seems that the Russians are intensifying their activities in this area because they are trying to break through the Ukraine's defense in this area with the purpose to establish complete control over the most important part of the city of Liman, over its southeastern part. If Ukrainians lose control over the southeastern part of Liman, they will not be able to hold their positions in the central and the western parts as well. The Barova, the Kupiansk, and the northeastern part of Kharkiv region, nothing special was recorded during the previous 24 hours. And that's it for today. The Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel, put your likes on my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.